Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Phased Out. I'm Jacob, and this is Austin. Austin is one of our pod members in our casual commander pod, but likes to play very overpowered commanders. So I'm excited to hear what you have today for the third episode of Show Me Your Deck. What commander did you bring?
I brought an overpowered commander for you.
Good. It wouldn't feel right if you didn't.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You say that. I think you just have a hard time against my decks. But
well, I'm not very good at the game, so that makes sense.
I brought my commander to show you guys. It's Galadriel, Light of Valinor. Mm-hmm. It's a Lord of the Rings card. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What do you want to know? Like, I can go into it.
Why did you build Galadriel? Like, why? I feel like that's a. If you look at the EDH rankings, that's not a very commonly built. I mean, there's a lot of decks of it, but compared to some of the other decks, that's not a very popular commander.
Yeah. So the deck Galadriel, it's kind of like just a value commander. It's it's a green, white, and a blue. It's like a 3/3. Galadriel, it has the ability Alliance. So basically, whenever a creature enters, I get to choose between one of three modes. I either make 3 green mana, I scry 2 and draw a card, or I get to put a 1/1 counter on all my creatures. So really, it's just a generically good Bant value commander.
Gotcha.
The way I built it, it's kind of like tokens, hatebears. I just think it's a lot of fun. But
I hate bears.
You hate hatebears.
I hate bears.
Well,
and regular bears, to be honest with you, but mostly hate bears. Little creatures that just stop my gameplay. Not fun. What do you when we're talking like power level, if you like walk up to a local game store and you see 3 people playing, you want to try and be their 4th, and they tell you they're playing bracket 3s, like middle bracket 3s, are you sit down and play this deck, or is this then overpowering that table?
So
what's the power level here of this
deck? Yeah. This deck right now in its current iteration, I would say it's probably like just a standard 3. There's a couple game changers. There's a ton of interaction. There's a ton of like triggers that are going to happen constantly, but like overall, I would say it's not any stronger than your standard creature combo
Focus
deck.
combos.
Yeah. Like I said, again, like the type of interaction, like hate bears are not the most fun to play against, but that this type of deck for what it is could be a lot stronger.
So would you say like a 3, like middle 3?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd say 3.
Okay, interesting. When I think about Galadriel, I just think, I mean, she's in green, right? So there's so much ramp opportunity, especially with her ability. I assume you have a lot of creature entering, copy that creature entering. You're allowed to like make more creatures, more of what you have, or something like that, so that you're triggering this card 3 or 4 times a turn.
Yeah, so I mean the play pattern is kind of repetitive. It's essentially I'm either trying to make tokens on everybody's upkeep and trigger my commander multiple times, which already kind of ramps itself because it makes mana. It also lets me draw the cards that I'm using to kind of perpetuate my game plan. It also has loads of mana dorks because they're low to the ground and they're easy to cast to actually trigger my commander more. So really the whole game plan is just like, how much can I abuse her 3 creatures entering a turn, value that she generates. And yeah, it doesn't have a lot of traditional ramp spells. I think there's really only like 2, maybe a Nature's Lore, definitely Soul Ring, and maybe Sky Shroud Claim. But for the most part, it's just once I get the ball rolling, I don't need for mana because I'm just making so much creature mana.
And then, I assume you do the mana first each time you cast a creature, and then do you scry, or do you put counters on stuff next?
So, yeah, I think with this commander, it's pretty tough because you got to get your sequencing right. Like I said, she makes mana. She makes 3 green mana. She puts a 1/1 counter on everything, or I can scry 2 and draw a card. Normally, it kind of depends on what's in my hand, right? If I've got a 3 mana instant like Archdruid's Charm, and I know I want to go fetch a creature, or I want to like exile something, I'll sequence it so I'll have the creature enter, immediately make that mana. Maybe I go tutor for a creature that I can flash in or something, trigger it again. Normally it's like the 2nd or 3rd trigger that I want to actually use that counter ability. The scry 2 and draw, it's really just like, is my hand loaded? Okay, I want to use that last. Like I don't really need it as much. Or am I like starving for cards? Because I already, dumped all my creatures on the board, maybe I want to do that scry 2 and draw more consistently, like over turn cycles.
Yeah, because I know you've put a lot of work into this deck, so I assume your hand is usually playable. I assume it doesn't really run too dry, so that scry and draw is kind of a bail you out option, it sounds like. Yeah,
for sure. I can't remember for this current iteration. I think there's a couple ways that I can take advantage of that. I did just this iteration is like probably the most creatures it's ever had. I think there's like something like 35 creatures or something. One that I was really excited about is Matoya, or I believe that's how you say it. It was a Final Fantasy card. Whenever you scry or surveil, you get to draw a card. So it's kind of like a twofer.
Yeah.
Like if I have Matoya out and my commander triggers and I do that scry 2 draw, well, I get to scry 2 draw and then I get to draw again. So like you can really take advantage of that. There's a couple other draw engines that are like, aside from my commander, just like totally busted, that I think synergize really well. Danny Pink, I'm sure if you've ever looked at like EDH rec for Galadriel, you know that like
it's
Danny
like one of
Pink
the first recommended
cards. Yeah, it's like it's probably, I feel like Danny Pink was good in that pre-con. It came out in like Doctor Who. But like maybe they didn't realize it at the time, but that card was basically printed for my commander.
Yeah, I can agree. So you keep saying that this is, which iteration is this? I've done a bunch of iterations. How many iterations do you think you've gotten into this?
Yeah.
It takes a long time to master something. So like, how many iterations did it take to make this deck perfect?
Well, I definitely wouldn't say it's perfect.
I've played against it. It's pretty perfect.
It's gone through a lot of steps and phases. Pun intended. No.
That was good. No, I liked it.
Originally, I think like this might have been my second commander that I ever built. This was back when I got really excited about the idea of like building an alliance commander back when Streets of New Capenna came out.
Okay.
There was a card called Galadriel. I got super stoked. Like, oh, I get to like have these triggers when creatures enter. Around Lord of the Rings, when this came out, I knew immediately I wanted to build it. And I kind of forgot your question, but it was going somewhere, I promise.
What I was asking, what iteration?
Oh, yeah.
On this deck, because like you said, it's your second commander you built. So it's old.
There's a point to it. So like, it came out. I was super stoked. I initially, really inexperienced deck builder. I went to EDH Rec. I tried all the like kind of typical options.
Yeah, totally.
The top ones are like you can go the token route or you can go like Elf Ball. I tried an Elf Ball strat. For me at the time, I really wasn't like interested in paying more than like $5 for a card. Like that still felt like an insane budget.
It still feels like that to me.
Even right now, if you look at the Moxfield list for this deck, it's a little too expensive for my taste, but we could get into that in a little bit, but
it is expensive.
It is my most expensive deck, I will say that.
Okay.
But I tried Elf Ball. I didn't really buy the right cards, so it never really fell into place. I decided I wanted to try like a creature combo route, so I got Emil. I got Scurry Oak, and I tried to do the whole like every time I put a +1 counter, I make a token, and then that token, there's another creature that lets me put a counter on a creature, so I put it back on Scurry Oak and do that whole infinite route. Really, almost immediately, the pod did not like that play style, so I thought, oh, I should take this deck apart. Like I'm gonna get hated off the table, but. I think the next iteration, I tried to do like flash speed, just generic high value creatures. Went for like a more CEDH build, lower, like a lot more trimmed down on like the creatures I put in there.
Trying to win quicker.
And it just like through each of these little tests, I've found more and more pet cards that I like. And this iteration of the deck is like definitely, like I said, not the strongest version of it, but it's all the cards that I've liked through all those. So it's got those token makers, it's got those hate pieces, it's got high value or like high power cards that just are generically good.
Yeah.
But I like where it's at.
So oftentimes, at least in old Magic, maybe not so much anymore, but usually the higher power cards are your win cons. Usually, when you're playing this deck and it's doing its thing, right? Your deck did the thing. What is that here?
Yeah.
Is that like going wide, searching for something? What is that?
So like a perfect hand, I'll start from like probably like a turn 1 play, right? So perfect hand, I've got a mana dork, maybe a ramp spell. I get 3 or 4 mana. I fix my colors by turn 2 or turn 3.
Yeah.
I get my commander out. Then the next probably turn or so, ideally I'd have a token maker. That's like your Illustrial Wanderglyph. I think it's 4 mana or 4 colorless and a white. Every upkeep you make a golem token. When you have the city's blessing,
Golems
like
trigger
they get
Galadriel.
they get buffed too every upkeep. So like I play it, I pass the turn, I have some protection in my hand so I can like, maintain my board state. On your upkeep, I get a token, I get a Galadriel trigger. Maybe I draw, I sculpt my hand.
So they're +3/+3.
Yeah, I'm getting, 4 creatures in a turn cycle, including my own. And then by the time the turn has come back to me, I've got a buffed board. And I can just either swing out or I can play something like an overrun effect. I've got Crater Hoofs in here. I've got, there was a while where I was running Triumph of the Hordes because I thought the poison win was fun. Took that out.
It's bad to lose too.
Oh yeah, so that's a cut that maybe eventually it'll make its way back into the deck, but for now it's mainly just make tokens, buff my board, sculpt my hand, hopefully swing out. Yeah.
So you mentioned some of the prior iterations of this deck were, go wide, just play hate bears, go big and fancy creatures. This sounds like it has everything in it, like you said. It's kind of a mix of all those prior lives. Which one of those is your favorite though out of these?
Oh, if you had to my pet card?
Yeah, like what would be the card that you're like this is my favorite way to win, this is my favorite way to set my board up, that kind of stuff.
Okay, so I brought up Danny Pink.
Yeah.
Danny Pink is probably the most fun experience playing this game. So like say I have that Illustrial Wanderglyph card out. I've got my commander out. I play Danny Pink. Danny Pink gives each one of my creatures the ability that every time, or for the first time, when a +1/+1 counter is put on that creature, I draw a card. So say I do that same turn cycle where I'm making a token on everyone's upkeep. By the time it's the second or third player's turn, I've got probably 5-6 creatures. So every upkeep, I'm putting a counter on every one of them. I'm drawing 5 or 6 cards.
Genuinely crazy.
It's just so fun to just like slam your deck on the table and be like, all right, guys, what do you have to say? Can I win now? This deck does it very well.
It sounds like you said this is like a middle of level 3, but as you continue to talk about it, I'm having a really hard time believing that because you keep talking about how you have these creatures, they're +1/+1 on everyone's turn, and by your turn 3, you're like scary.
It enables
that's almost like CEDH to me.
It definitely enables like a strong play pattern, but I would say that with this current iteration, it's loads of creatures. It's like 35 creatures. It's not as efficient. It's definitely not as fast. I'm not winning on like a turn 4, turn 5. Like I'm getting lucky if I get all my pieces out. Like really, it's like a 3 or 4 piece combo to like make it so that I lock the game down.
Yeah, so really you're hoping for like 6 to 8 turns.
Yeah, I'm probably winning
uninteracted with.
If I've got the right protection and I've found my pieces that I need, I'm making my claim to try to win probably around like turn 7.
Yeah.
Which is like I recognize that's fast, but it's definitely not like I'm going to combo off on turn 4 and you guys can't do anything about it.
Yeah. Totally.
So yeah.
Okay, so speaking to the audience here, a lot of us don't have almost $1,000 to spend on a single deck.
Fair.
Not to out you,
That's
but
fair.
How can somebody build a commander deck around Galadriel, and maybe make some cuts that they could still have an amazing deck, but be around $300 or $400?
I think it's super easy. So a majority of the cost in this deck is there's a handful of blinged out cards. Like there's some foils in here. It's just stuff that I've opened in packs over the years. Like I've wanted to make this kind of like my pet deck, so it has a lot of those cards. I would say definitely you don't have to buy the flashiest printing of like a staple card. You can buy the base set copy of a very playable CDH card, and it can be like 30 cents.
Yeah.
So high power doesn't necessarily mean high budget, but with this deck, I would definitely say like the interaction pieces that you run, like a Psych Rift is like a $20 card. I was lucky that I was able to get that secret layer, so I got it at a discount to me.
Totally.
But there's plenty of cuts. Like Psych Rift is a really good example of there's budget options for that. Where you could play like just a card that bounces everybody's creatures rather than like only your opponent's creatures. You don't have to use that as a win con. Glen Elendra, I think that's like a $10 card that's in there because it has high synergy with my commander. It's got persist. Like there's budget persist cards. There's budget hate bears. Like I think Linvala is a good example of a card that this deck definitely doesn't need. Linvala is a 2 mana, 2 white, 3/4 flyer. It has activated abilities if creatures your opponents control can't be activated.
Oh,
I wanted hate bears in here.
Fair.
Yeah, and I put it in here because I just got it. I was really excited. I wanted to jam it into a deck. That doesn't make this deck more efficient. It doesn't make this deck more like powerful for like the game plan. If you just were to focus on making tokens on each other's turns, you don't need Celestial Wanderglyph to do that. You can play like more of the aura mutation type cards where destroy target enchantment, create X saplings.
Totally.
Like that's a $2 card, right?
Totally. I see you're listing off a bunch of very powerful cards. But I also am looking at your deck list and I'm seeing that you're at 13 cards worth of protection. So, one in every 9 to 10 cards you draw is protection theoretically if you're perfectly shuffled. That's a lot of protection. I think most of my decks I run like 4 or 5. Now, given I lose a lot, so maybe that's why. But you running so much protection, it feels like it's going to be hard to interact with your board and slow you down because of all that interaction.
Yeah, I think the idea. So like the way I balanced it this time around. Like I said, there's been versions of this deck that were like more aggressive, like honestly just not as good either, less consistent. I went for consistency because this is like such a heavy creature-based strategy. It's like 35 creatures. I'm playing at sorcery speed for the most part, and then just relying on token makers to continue to have like effects on other people's turns. So my reason for putting so much protection and there's a decent amount of removal too is like what I'm keeping in my hands. Like I really want to make sure that I can either protect my board state because I'm depending on your turns or my opponent's turns to like continue to build mine. Yeah. So I think it's very important. Half of these protection spells are also kind of win cons, like Akroma's Will. I pulled that in a Commander Legends pack forever ago. That could save you or that could win you the game. It sucks to have to play it to like protect your board, but knowing that option is there is like one of the reasons that I think this version of the deck is consistent. Yeah.
Totally. Any final thoughts that any young deck builders maybe should know when looking at building this deck, if they find interest in Galadriel or anything like that?
I would say if you like token-based strategies, my very first deck when I got into Magic was like a Selesnya token standard deck.
Fun. Yeah.
It was really big in like 2022 maybe. If you like creature-based strategies, if you like token strategies, if you want a generically good value commander and you just want to like put all your favorite creature cards and you could build this for flavor and just like have fun, stuff it with all your favorite stuff. This does a very good job at like just kind of like giving you a fun time. Like it forgives you a lot for like some of the issues you have. And like if you look at the deck list, like I said, I don't think it's like a super efficient deck, but my commander makes up for a lot of my troubles.
Yeah, because if you are running dry, if you didn't build the deck great and you're running dry in your hand, you have card draw in your commander. In the
it does everything,
zone, and it's just powerful.
Yeah,
I mean, I've said this tons of times, but usually whoever draws the most cards in a game often wins because you're looking for that win con. You're getting closer to it.
And for $10, you can have Danny Pink, and
sounds like that's a must
maybe
have in the deck.
maybe it's like you set aside $30 of your budget just for Danny Pink and your commander,
totally.
and then you just like go try to tutor for
whatever you want. Yeah, dude, that's sweet. Yeah. I like this deck. I've played it a couple times. There's a lot more triggers in it than I think people are thinking there probably is because I've missed a lot of them playing this.
Yeah.
But it's cool to hear your passion about this deck. I know you love it. I know it's one of your babies, so it's great to see. And I'm sure there's going to be people who will also have fun when they get a chance to build it.
I hope so.
Thanks for coming on, man. It was great to have you. If you guys want to see the deck list, we are going to put it down in the description, the link to Moxfield, and we'll see you back here next time for episode 3.
Yeah. I hope you like my Moxfield profile photo.